Welcome to another user webinar exclusive for our clients. I'm Ilana Shabtai, and I'm so excited to be here with Eliav Moshe, co-founder and chief of product of Auto Leadstar. Eliav, we're so excited to have you on the user webinar.
Same here. Really glad to be here.
And I do want to give you a proper introduction so everyone can get to know you if they don't already. Eliav is a published author in multiple fields, a top-rated app developer, and an experienced lecturer in math and bioethical analysis. His mobile applications have reached #1 spots in key app store categories, and he has years of experience applying analytics to software and user acquisition growth. As Chief Product Officer at Auto Leadstar, Eliav has built an extensive analytics data layer and consults with clients in and out of the automotive world on Google Analytics implementations, data integrations, conversion optimization, and mobile-first development. So very excited that we have Eliav here to present this webinar. So let's jump into the agenda.
Awesome.
So today, Eliav will be focusing on some of our top 2020 features. We've put a lot out despite the crazy year that we've had, so I'm excited to review those. He is going to give also an exclusive look at the 2021 product roadmap. And at the end, there will be live Q&A. To make sure that we stay within the time frame of the webinar, if we don't get to every single person's question, we will follow up privately. So if you do submit a question and we don't get to it, don't worry, your DXM, your dealer experience manager, will follow up. So Eliav, let's jump right in.
Awesome. So first of all, again, happy to be here, and thank you very much for the introduction.
Yes.
Yeah, like you said, I've been around the block with technology for quite a while. And I've been developing myself and also with the teams over here. And I must say that 2020 was a very interesting year. So,
Sure.
well, of course, with COVID and all, but the global pandemic, but putting that aside from pure product and technology, I think it was an amazing year. For sure at Auto Leadstar, but also when you're looking at the scene of technology, especially for automotive, you can see how the industry is ramping up. And again, like when we're looking here back at 2020, we definitely see this as a year that technology actually started kicking in, similar to what we've seen in other industries.
Yeah.
So again, what did we have? What did we have this year? In 3 words, if I am to summarize this, I would say that it was speed, scale, and specificity. We call this the 3 S's here. And I think that this is actually what technology is helping car dealerships, but actually all businesses to ramp up their businesses and get into the digital era. And I think that it is an era. It's not just using technology. We're now starting to live technology. And with your permission, let's actually deep dive and see what happened in 2020. We'll touch on what happened in Auto Leadstar, but we'll also try to keep an eye on the global market. So one of the highlights that we had at Auto Leadstar was the inventory boosting, and I think that it is a highlight. And for those not familiar with this awesome feature, inventory boosting is allowing dealerships to prioritize specific inventory based on rules. And I'm not talking anymore about top models. Okay, we used to think about give me your 2, 3, 4 top models, and then we'll do campaigns for these models. Again, this is history. Now we're talking about VIN level advertising, but again, not all of your VINs, not all of your vehicles. It's about identifying those opportunities, the vehicles that the dealership should be boost and promote on, and again, specific VINs, promote them on the ad platforms, and then continue the engagement in order to move this inventory really fast from the lot. So again, it can be either because the OEM is doing a promotion on a specific model and you want to find those specific vehicles, or it can also be based on dealership needs. So if you have aged inventory and there are specific cars that you would like to move fast, again, this is something that this technology can help you do. So again, we've introduced this feature, and this feature actually goes across the entire Auto Lead Store platform. It's very, very easy to use, can be used by anyone, but definitely if you need to use this feature, this is something that we highly recommend to talk to the DXM, to the dealer experience managers here at Auto Lead Store, and ask them about it. It inputs the business logic of a dealership, and not just using marketing for the sake of marketing, but using marketing in order to promote specific business needs. So again, this is definitely a feature that, due to speed, scale, and specificity, the ability to monitor in real time the inventory of a dealership and being able to load up ads, and not just add a whole campaign for a specific vehicle. This is something that is possible only by using technology, meaning this is not something that a traditional marketer that can just go and sit and craft few ads for a vehicle can do anymore.
And Eliav, if you go back to that inventory boost just for one moment, you mentioned that obviously Acquire is running off of an algorithm that is trying to find the best opportunities for dealers for leads. Once man interacts, in a sense, which is kind of inventory boosting, and man says, okay, prioritize this, how does the algorithm still put resources on inventory that's not necessarily boosted, and then how does it know to put on ones that are boosted? Can you just talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. I think this is great question. It actually goes beyond the boosting. If you're thinking about how do you allocate budget, how do you spread your marketing dollars in order to get the best results, it goes to basically the business rationale, the business need. So finding the balance between the opportunities that you see in the market and what you're trying to push forward is exactly what Acquire is designed to do. So by doing a boost, you're basically telling the algorithms, you're telling the software that I care about this more. And you just say that I would like you to shift more, or to put more weight on leads that will come and buy those vehicles, because I would like to focus on this. So the boosting is applying the business logic into the algorithms. It's forcing the algorithm to do certain things in certain direction, and then you will see the results shifting toward what you're trying to move forward. Obviously, the system will balance this with the opportunities. So for example, say that you want to boost a vehicle that doesn't have a lot of demand, it doesn't mean that the system will stop pushing your other inventory, but it will find the balance between the two, again, trying to emphasize the boosting more than it usually will do.
Thanks for the clarification.
Awesome. So looking at another feature, and I think that this goes directly to COVID, and I think that, again, this is part of being very, very responsive to the market, to market needs. So we've seen how the dealerships quickly adapted the infrastructures and the services to accommodate for the new reality in the market. So we've seen them offering, instead of you come to us, to the dealership, to the showroom, because people were hesitant to come to the showroom. So we will come to you. We will schedule a test drive online, and we will send someone to you. So we've designed here, based on feedback that we got from the market, from our developer partners, and also from all of our clients, features that are designed to increase the comfort and making the shoppers more comfortable engaging with the dealership. So yes, if it means that you will be able to pick your beverages, or you can decide who do you want to take the test drive with, then again, doing everything that we can in order to support the efforts of the dealerships. The goal here is to shorten the sales cycle. It's to give that experience, that comfort to shoppers, even in times of COVID.
And we see the speed, scale, and specificity for that as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So again, the fast turnover, and actually, this is really kudos to the entire industry because we've seen this happening. And again, I know that here we're focusing on Autolitza, but I actually, I must admit, I've seen this on all other vendors. I've seen this happening also at the dealership themselves, meaning we um, as people who work and serve this industry, I think that we've seen that rapid adoption for new technology, which was amazing to see. But also we've seen how the market reacted to this. And I think again, 2020 was a roller coaster because of this pandemic. But
Yes.
again, good things come out of it. When you're looking at changes that we did internally, and not just the changes that we did when we engage with the market and the shoppers, but also when you're looking at the services that we're offering our dealerships. So we took a serious upgrade there. And again, Autolitza, what differentiates Autolitza from other vendors in the industry is that we are a technology company. We're not necessarily a traditional agency. We're developing software. We're based on data. And as such, everything is about the data. And we believe in making the data accessible to dealerships at any given time. And this is why we've invested a lot in developing a very, very robust dashboard and making sure that everything is fully transparent. You can go and you can take a look at the performance. You can take a look at the reports, but more importantly, you can actually get a lot of insights. You can get a lot of market intelligence. You can actually know. You can drill down to your performance, and you can better understand as a dealership where you're better, where there are still opportunities. Maybe you should change the strategy a little bit. Maybe you should focus on specific objectives. So again, all this wealth of information is available at the dashboard, and highly recommend to any one of our clients to spend time at the dealership. And specifically, I think the landing page, which is a single page that summarizes everything. We call this the performance page, the platform performance page, where you can see the funnel. You can see how shoppers actually navigate through the system. So again, we're really excited about this feature, and I think that this talks also to the what AutoLeadstar is for our clients. And again, it's not just we're not here just to provide the performance. Definitely we are. The numbers speak for themselves, but we're also here to support the dealerships. And we think of the dealership as our partners, and we're here to provide them the knowledge and all the data that comes with the engagement that we're more than happy to share with our clients.
I think that's a really important point.
Yeah. We're not going to touch on all the features that we've discussed in 2020, because we're going to be spending here probably several hours. But I will just mention another two or three very briefly. But I think that this is part of the trend of 2020 of speed, scale, and specificity. So we've seen features like the Google responsive ads, the price extensions. We've expanded to more business objectives. So if at the beginning of the year we focused on inventory and brand awareness, we've expanded. Now we're also offering trade-in services and service, and also and even parts for those dealerships that are doing parts advertisement. Definitely when with the holidays this year are slightly different. We all know that, but due to COVID, they're slightly different. But again, holiday campaigns are out there, and I think that everything here goes toward rapidly changing and adapting. We cannot use everything that we did last year. This year is totally different, and with that difference, we need to move really fast as marketers, as dealerships. We need to offer our shoppers. Our shopper expects to see the best of the best. When we're competing on Facebook, when we're competing on the attention of the customers, we're not competing against the dealership across the street. We're actually competing with worldwide companies. We're competing on the attention of the shopper. So if someone is browsing or spending time on Facebook, we're actually competing with Spotify. We're competing with Netflix on the attention of the shopper. And this requires us to always be ahead of the game. It requires us to move really, really fast and adapt really fast, and obviously do everything based on data. So again, this is when we're looking at 2020, and I think that this is actually brings us to 2021, because we're going to see a lot more of this in 2021. Our shoppers today expect us different things than what they did 7 months ago, because the world is not going to go to where it was, even though we're looking forward for the vaccine, but the world is not going to go back to what it was before 2020. It's not that it's going to be totally different and we're going to live with COVID for the rest of our lives, but it did change the way that we and also the market thinks about certain things. So again, what we're looking to do in 2021, and this is, again, I'm not gonna do now feature releases, but again, if we're looking at the direction that we would like to take, or we would like to see auto lead start expanding, so definitely it goes to the shopping experience. So expanding the reach. If you're thinking about it, we have two major products now. One of them is Acquire, who's responsible to drive and acquire traffic, but the traffic is still anonymous. We still don't have those traffic as a customers. Then comes the second part. The second part is Connect, which is our on-site engagement tool. And the idea there is to take the traffic that Acquire brings to the website and convert this traffic into leads. But then what happens? We have a lot of leads sitting in our CRM, and we actually need to process them. We need to nurture those leads. Some of the leads are highly qualified and they're ready to go, and we can convert them to a sale. And we see that on average, for a typical dealership, between 12 to 15, 16% even of the leads will convert into a sale. But what happens with the rest of them? The rest of them are just sitting in our CRM, and they're actually opportunities that we can turn into sales. So again, we're looking here to expand also to the lead nurturing. What happens after the lead has been converted? How can we help the BDC? How can we help the dealership to close more of those leads and turn them into sales? So again, we're now exploring with several dealerships in the market, and we're looking to develop a lead nurturing layer that's gonna be connected to obviously Acquire and Connect. So far, we've seen great results in terms of open rates, in terms of click-through rates, and also in terms of sales. Again, we're gonna polish this, and as soon as this is ready, we're gonna be opening a beta program for the auto lead start clients. We'll announce this later on in 2021. I think that this definitely completes the product suite of auto lead start. So I am really excited about this. This obviously involves a heavy CRM data mining that is going to feed this nurturing product. But again, more on this to come, and more details on this during 2021. And okay, more expansions. So within Acquire, we've seen expansions in the past half a year to 12 months. We've seen a lot of expansions. We're looking to continue those expansions because the marketing world is very, very progressive, and new stuff are being released every day. Facebook and Google are not pausing for a second. They're releasing every other month. They're releasing new types of ads. More networks are opening their gates for marketers to start pushing more content. So again, even going beyond Google and Facebook and finding more opportunities across the net to find shoppers wherever they are. And I think that this is very much resonate with the concept of Acquire, because what Acquire does basically is that it takes the marketing dollars, the marketing budget, and then it finds where it's best to invest those marketing dollars in order to get the best outcome, the best results, as many leads as possible, obviously qualified leads. But again, we're agnostic to a specific platform. So it might be that one platform will give us a good return on investment in May, but it might be that in October it's going to flip, or there's going to be something different, and then the system will need to adapt. And this is what the Acquire is designed to do. And there's actually something that's very fascinating that we've seen in 2020 during COVID. And this showed us really the power of Acquire, where we've seen that before COVID, if we're looking at January and February even, but also before, if we're looking at 2019, we've seen how Google is dominating the market. We've seen how people are actively searching, and most of the qualified leads will come from SEM. But then comes COVID, and you see how the behavior changed completely, because overnight, and it was literally overnight, probably within like few days, you've seen how the market completely changed. People stopped searching, or you can see how the searches are declining, and instead people are in lockdown, people are staying home, people are spending a lot of time on social networks, and you can see how with the decline of SEM, you can see the rise of social networks. And at these times, this is where you see technology. This is where you see the fast response of automated systems, how they react to market changes, how they're shifting. And this is literally within 24 hours, shifting all the strategies, all the budgets, all the campaigns, and putting more focus on social networks. And when we're going out of lockdown, you can see how they're finding the balance and reacting. So again, no more sitting in a meeting for 2-3 hours with the agency, discussing what is the best approach, raising all kinds of hypotheses. It's pure data. It's pure A/B to Z testing of what is the best approach, what is the best way to spend the marketing dollars, and being very, very, very dynamic. So again, scale, speed, being very, very granular with the with what you're doing. This is the way to go. This is where we're going to put most of our attention. I think this is actually very important what you see now on the screen. So the Toyota, the FCA, the partnerships, and I think that this is also something that we've seen in 2020, and they're definitely behind the scenes. There are more partners coming up. So we've collaborated with Toyota and with FCA programs, and we're doing all kinds of experiments behind the scenes with OEMs, and we're definitely looking to expand these relationships. Again, talking as a technology provider, developing the cool stuff that the market is going to be using in 2021. The really awesome stuff that are being cooked also on the OEM side. So there are all kinds of programs, all kinds of services that the OEMs are preparing, partnering with a lot of good technology. So definitely looking forward to their announcements and their programs as soon as they launch them in 2021.
That's super exciting. Thank you so much, Eliav. I know that was just like a slice of what we're expecting in 2021, and also just a slice of what we did in 2020, but had some good insight, and questions were coming in, as you can imagine. So I'm going to get through as many of them as I can. I'm going to start with this one just because we've gotten this a lot, so I want to make sure you have the opportunity to answer this. Google recently changed their targeting setup, and now we can't use zip codes for advertising. Can you talk about how AutoLeadStar is dealing with this change?
Sure. So first of all, a little bit about the change. The change is due to a recent policy on Google that is limiting some industries, some campaigns for using gender, age, parental status, and zip codes during campaigns. This policy went into effect, I believe, October 18 or 19, sorry, October 19 of 2020. And as a result, this required a change on everyone who's doing SEM for these industries, including the automotive industry. So the change basically means that you cannot target specific zip codes anymore. Instead, you can target based on radius. Some dealerships use this even before, so it was not a problem, but many OEMs required, before the change, required dealerships to use specific zip codes in order to prevent them to compete in certain regions. So every dealership got a list of zip codes that he's allowed to advertise. Now with the change, it created a little bit of a chaos. So few OEMs already started changing the instructions and giving different techniques of how to use zip codes in order to circumvent this and allow basically the dealerships to continue and advertise on Google. What we did here at Orlitza was to make it as seamless as possible to the dealerships. So what we did is that we tweaked the technology to look for the zip codes and convert them dynamically into radiuses. So instead of doing one campaign on selected zip codes, using automation, using scale, we can actually split this into as many campaigns as we want with the specific targeting. And again, allowing us, if I'm going back to those three S's, the scale, speed, and specificity, this goes into the specificity. So being very, very granular, this is what allows us to use the technology and on scale, break it down and be very, very, very specific and tailor each campaign to a very, very tiny radius using the Google technology, obviously. But again, this is where making this change using technology is something that's actually very easy. And this was the reason that we could have support this change really fast. In a matter of a couple of days, we changed our entire infrastructure to support this. And this is actually something that's going to be very, very hard for someone who's managing the advertisement in-house, or they're using a boutique agency to run the advertisement.
And that's actually an excellent segue into the next question. You've brought up many times that it's all going to be based on data, and manual is kind of history at this point. So the next question is, how do you envision, or what do you envision is the future of automotive digital agencies? And I'm sure there's a lot of opinions and controversy with this question. So Eliav, I'm excited to hear your expertise on this.
Yeah. So first of all, we need to understand the role of a digital agency, and I think digital agencies will stay with us, but maybe the role is going to shift a little bit, because when you're looking at technology, and I think that this is a broader conversation that goes even beyond automotive. This goes into machines and humans, and what's the role of AI in our life, and will AI replace our jobs, and so on. I think that it goes, and again, zooming in back to automotive, I think this technology changed the way we do things. There are certain elements that a machine can do much better than any human being. When it comes to those three S's, when it comes to doing things on scale, if you need to process or if you need to create a lot of ads, this is not something that a human being is good at. We're good at making decisions. Mm-hmm. We're good at applying business logic or deciding what we want better. But the actual deployment of your marketing campaigns into the different ad platforms is not a function that we are designed to do. This is a function that we've built machines, and they are designed to do this much better than us. So when I'm looking at technology, when I'm looking at digital agencies in not just 2021, but in the years to come, but definitely it starts today, you see how they evolve, or how they change, or how they perceive their job or their role in the marketing world. It's different. It's going to become different. So they're going to be more of a consulting. It's going to be more of, maybe I can use the technology on your behalf. But if you're comparing a dealership that's using technology versus a dealership that's using an agency that does not apply technology, or don't do things on scale or don't allow this granularity, then there's definitely, I mean, meaning you cannot compare the two.
Right.
Definitely, you don't stand a chance against technology. You don't stand a chance against using big data. If you're looking at the most successful companies out there, you will probably name Google, Netflix, Spotify, Amazon. What's in common? Well, they all
Big
leverage
data.
technology.
Yep.
They are the pioneers. They are the ones that take technology, develop the technology, and then it's the world that we live in. You cannot really go back. You cannot avoid data. You cannot just close your eyes. So I do believe that we will see more agencies evolving and using technology on behalf of the dealerships, and playing that bridge maybe between the dealership. But again, as technology is going to be more accessible and more easy to use, we will also see this slightly changing as well.
Right. So it's basically inevitable. The agencies will either be leveraging the technology on behalf of the dealerships, or dealerships will just be leveraging the technology directly.
Yeah,
Um,
and I do think that this is a good outcome for the dealerships. Meaning the dealerships are going to get the performance, and obviously when you can, using technology, when you can lower the cost of what it takes to do very efficient marketing, you get a much higher ROI. So there's no reason for the dealerships not to roll with this.
right. And I know we're pressed for time, so I will just bring in, I want to squeeze in one more question here. Someone here asked that they said, thank you for discussing a little bit about inventory management and what you've been doing in 2020. Is there anything coming down the pipeline for 2021 when it comes to inventory management specifically?
Sure. So when we're looking at inventory management, so one thing that we did was to allow the dealership to select the vehicles that they would like to boost. So the input here was mostly the dealership. It wasn't necessarily algorithmic, or it was not. We didn't apply those three S's to the inventory management. When we're looking at the inventory management, this is actually much bigger than inventory boosting. When you do inventory boosting, you're selecting manually things that you want to push forward. But with inventory management, this is actually applying some rules in order to help the dealership to be smart, very smart about how they spend dollars on marketing, and taking into account not just the dealership inventory, but actually regional inventory. So for example, if you have a vehicle that we see that it's going to be very hard to sell the vehicle. Why? Because there are many vehicles in the region now offering, or many dealerships offering that specific combination, and we also see that there isn't so much demand. Then this is something that definitely technology can track and communicate to the dealership, and also do some automations. But also, if you have a rare opportunity, or you have a rare combination that actually is in demand, then actually maybe you shouldn't be spending even a dime, because you're probably going to be selling it very fast. So again, reading the map, reading the demand, reading the supply, and allowing the dealership to maneuver the marketing activities based on this is definitely something that we are exploring now. We're actually doing a few testing on this, and we're seeing great results. And we're looking forward to expand this and actually embed this as part of our core offering in 2021.
Awesome. Okay, something else to look forward to in 2021. So any questions that were not answered, again, we will privately follow up with you. Thank you so much, Eliav. This was extremely insightful. I'm happy you were able to join us today. And to our clients, thank you for tuning in.
It's been a pleasure.